Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are interviewing a man by the name of Dan Meadors. That's Dan Meadors, Meadors. And he's built a multi-million-dollar Amazon business. And now he specializes in not only running his own multi-million-dollar Amazon businesses, but he teaches great people like you how to sell products more effectively on Amazon.com. If you've ever wanted to sell a product on Amazon, today is the show for you.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes. Dr. Z, it is always ecstasy when you are next to me.
It's so good.
But today it's feeling a little bit better because we have a guy on the show he's a multi-million-dollar Amazon seller and the founder of the Wholesale Formula, where he teaches others, that'd be people other than himself, how to grow and scale their own wholesale-based Amazon businesses with relationship-building techniques from sellers, brand suppliers, vendors.
Cool.
Targeting potential products, brands to sell. And he's going to share his insight. See, he's going to wow us. It's Dan Meadors. Dan Meadors, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Hey, guys. Glad to be on here.
All right, Dan, we're going to interrogate you, my friend. I got to ask you, you've had some huge success now, but where did it all start for you? How did you get started?
I used to have just a regular day job working for a toys and games company that sold products online.
Okay.
And, it's just like everybody else's job, just, your standard run-of-the-mill job. One day, I live in Corbin, Kentucky. I'm sure you guys can hear that from my accent. But one day our CFO came in and he turned in his notice, and we were like, "Hey, what's going on, Andrew?" And Andrew told us that he was turning in his notice because he was selling things on Amazon and making more money part-time than he was with his full-time job. And this guy had a 6-figure salary. And I'll be honest with you guys, these things don't grow in Kentucky. There's not a whole lot of 6-figure jobs that you can just go out there and get.
Yeah.
So it blew my mind whenever he told me that. And ultimately, we talked him into taking us out, showing us what he was doing. And he was doing a model called retail arbitrage. And what that is, it's going into brick-and-mortar stores, buying things, and then selling them for a profit online. And I remember the very first item. It was literally that night. I was like, whoa, this can't possibly be real. So I was looking at a Disney card, and there's an app you can just scan a product, and they'll tell you how much it sells for on Amazon. And this particular product was $3 in the store and was $16 on Amazon.
What?
And I was, there's literally no way. And he was like, no, man. He's like, just think if your kids collect Disney cars and you go to your store and it's not there, what do you do if you really want it? You go online and you buy it and you pay whatever it takes to make your kid happy. And I was like, wow. So we bought a whole bunch of those, not really expecting they would sell, went and signed up for Amazon that night, listed them, sent them in, and the first day they landed, all of them sold out, and I knew we were onto something there. I was like, oh wow.
Snap.
Like, this could actually be a real business model. So for the next few months, me and Eric drove around because, there's not a lot. Like the closest Target to me is an hour and a half away. So we would just drive around, locally here within, 3 or 4 hour radius and buy stuff and then take it and sell it on Amazon. And with that first 6 months, we started with a $600 credit card because I didn't have credit and Eric had terrible credit at the time. And, we started with that little $600 card. And then in December of that year, so 6 months, we did $50,000 in sales in December alone.
Where
that original $600 credit
Where in Kentucky do you live? How close to Louisville do you live?
I'm about 2.5 hours south.
How close to Owensboro are you?
About 4 hours, 3.5 hours east.
I just looked up. He's right next to the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, that's got to be the secret. It's been a great show. Have a good day. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
So, all right. So you've done a lot of, you've had a lot of success on Amazon. But I'm not ripping you. My job is to ask the questions that are super rude listeners, not our listeners, but the friends of our listeners,
I'm the nice
candid
guy.
people.
He's like Dr.
I'm going to ask the
Evil.
questions that they would ask because I certainly wouldn't ask these questions. But I see a lot of people that will come to conferences and I'm like, hey, what do you do? And they go, well, I've been trying to sell stuff on Amazon for since Jeff Bezos was trying to sell books.
Yeah, come on.
And the only thing I haven't been able to sell is everything. So what is your secret, man? How are you selling? How are you doing so well when most people, are not doing so well with their Amazon business?
Sure. No, I mean, we started out like that, and ultimately we made a great living doing that, but it was one of those things we had to constantly be out there shopping, right? So ultimately what we did is we decided to switch models. And it started out, we were just trying to make money through the summer so we could be with our kids in the summer. And we started this thing called wholesale, and that's what we do now. And what wholesale is it's setting up accounts with manufacturers or brand owners, ordering product directly at a discount and then selling it online at a profit, which is fantastic, right? Like, it sounds great, but I remember early on it was so hard to get started because we would call these manufacturers and brand owners and they would just be like, yeah, man, we already have enough Amazon sellers, So it was really tough for us to get started. Ultimately, we did, and the way that we found to do it, here you asked for the secret sauce, and here's the secret sauce.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So whenever we would call brands, they didn't want to work with us. So what we started to do is we started to look beyond trying to buy and sell their products, right? Like, that's what everybody else tries to do. They call them, they try to place an order and sell their product. Well, we started looking at ways that we could add strategic value to them because we didn't have a ton of money. I can't place bigger orders than everybody else. So the one thing I could do is I could offer them my Amazon expertise, right? So we would look at their listings and come up with ways to help their products sell more, help them to be better presented, and just overall just try to be a problem solver. So our approach to brands became, and it still works like magic, is we would go to brands and we would find out what their problems were, and then we would try to help them solve them and use that to leverage setting up an account and developing a great relationship with the brand.
Well, so Dan, give me an example. Give us an example. So walk me through one of the early examples, or give me the latest one.
An example that our minds can handle.
Yes.
Sure. Like an example. Here's a good example. A brand we talked to a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking to them about, because we see it, that's another thing is over time we've trained ourselves to see and understand opportunity. Like, I can look at an Amazon listing, I can tell you all the things it's doing wrong, and I can tell you approximately how much better it will do if you get those things right. And that's just through experience, right? But we saw this particular brand, we saw a lot of opportunity for them. We reached out to them, and one of their major problems was their product was being sold for nothing. Like, it was literally being sold right above cost. And they didn't have any pricing controls in place. So one of the things that we talked to them was about a MAP policy. And rather than just talking to them about, how to put a MAP policy in place, a MAP policy is minimum advertised price. And that's just, a vendor can say, please don't sell my products below this price. Otherwise, I'm not going to do business with you. It's not, it's not truly, it's not price fixing because it's a suggestion and they have the right to do business with whoever they want. So we talked to them about a MAP policy, gave them a sample MAP policy and told them about how to roll it out. So that's an example of solving a problem for them, right? It's not just giving them a solution, it's explaining how that solution really works and how it's ultimately going to help curb and solve their problem.
Now, on Amazon, there are, millions of people trying to sell their product on Amazon.
Millions.
See, I'm going to go on Amazon right now. Okay, I'm going to Amazon right now.
I'm surprised you're off of it.
I'm on there right now, and I'm going to search for. You're right. I can't believe I got off Amazon here. I'm logged in. I'm on Amazon. And I'm looking for beard oil. Beard oil. Oil for beard, right? Because there's men out there that want
smooth faced.
Well, there's men out there that want that organic. They want to, They want that organic, that healthy, that beard oil. They want to smell great, look great. They're sort of like, how would you describe these people? Like an urban warrior or something, or what do you call these people?
They're like a yuppie lumberjack.
Yuppie lumberjack or something. So I type in beard oil. Help our listeners understand how to get to the top of the Amazon search results when someone searches for beard oil.
Sure. No, that's a great question, and I think that's a fundamental thing that most people don't understand. So, like you guys said, how often your product's sold really depends on where you show up in that search, right? Like, if your product's towards the top of the page on page 1, you're going to get significantly more sales than if you're on page 3.
Yeah.
So, the way to get those products to show up better is, number one, through SEO. And what SEO is it's the search engine optimization, and that's making sure you're using the right keywords in your listing. But most importantly, and this is the thing that most people get, it's not just about adding words. It's about making sure that customers buy when they type those words. So one of the ways you can do it ultimately is you can do something like sponsored ads or sponsored advertising, and that's paying, for PPC or pay-per-click advertising. And that puts your product on the top of the page. But here's the thing. If your product's on the top of the page through paid advertising, it has to start converting. So your listing has to be engineered to be able to convert for that specific keyword. And then over time, you gain organic search rank, and your product naturally starts showing up there.
Now, I'm looking at one here called Honest Amish Balm Leave-In Conditioner. Made with all natural and organic ingredients. Honest Amish. This guy's got 7,360 reviews right now. Let's say we have a listener right now who's a graduate from a college, private school, smart guy, smart gal, somebody out there, smart person, and they got beard oil, and they're looking into it going, they're listening to Eric Clapton, if I could change the world, they're listening. Would be they're all fired up. They've been watching a lot of Rocky. Bum, 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 bum. They found you online there, Dan. They found you online, and they're going, how can I learn to come up top there? Do you show people how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, here's the thing is whenever you run into something like that, obviously Honest Amish is a juggernaut up there with 7,000 reviews that are probably super established, been there for years. Like, it's really, really hard. And it's a long road to hoe for somebody to overtake that slot. And that's the thing you have to realize is, you gotta look at this and with your competition in mind. So, while I could definitely tell them how to do it over time, I couldn't tell somebody how to do it tomorrow because the system's not built to work like that.
Give us a few of the steps one would have to take that are the long road. Because Z, you know this. I've been involved in franchising. You've been involved in your optometry clinic. Z, how many years have you been an optometrist?
27.
Would you say you do, with your 2 locations, probably one of the highest grossing volume optometry clinics in Tulsa?
Yeah, bigger than that, but yes.
But it's taken you a long time to get there.
Correct.
Okay. So, Dan, what are some of the steps our listeners could take right now if they did want to overtake the Honest Amish beard balm?
Yeah, take him on.
They say, I'm going to overtake the Amish, and I'm going to put lights and electricity on everything. I'm going to watch TV nonstop. I'm going to just be the anti-Amish. I'm going to dominate, the Amish. How would they do it?
For sure, I'll definitely get the answer to that. But I wanted to say he's been an optometrist about as long as I've had eyeballs.
Wow.
Wow. There we go.
That's
just another potential customer right there.
It's the Thrive Time Show with Father Time and Clay Clark.
And eyeballs.
All right, back to you.
Yeah. So the long road to hoe is ultimately your product has to be, your listing has to be geared for conversion. And that is, you're going to need great pictures.
Great pictures.
You're going to need a great description. Like and things like this, it's like your bullet points, your description. All of these have to be on point so that your product is ultimately converting. And then there's the step of you actually have to have a product that doesn't suck. Like oftentimes we forget that, right? Like it's like we want to hack the system and do all those things, but ultimately you actually have to have a problem or a product that is good. It's pretty clear that Honest Amish does. Like, if you have 7,000 reviews, your product is at the top of the page. Like, realistically, your product has probably performed exceptionally well for a long period of time. So, assuming you have a great product and you do all those things, right? You create a great listing, great title, great pictures. One of the things that we always try to talk to people about is enrolling a product into brand registry because it opens up a lot of advertising avenues, right? One of those is enhanced brand content. Now, what enhanced brand content does is it makes your listing a lot more vibrant by putting a more interactive description that tells your brand story and really goes. It's pictures and more detailed description.
Enhanced
really
brand content.
Your product click.
How do I do that? If I'm listing right now and I'm a 45-year-old guy and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. How does someone do that?
Sure. You actually just have to enroll in the brand registry program, and to do that, you have to have an active trademark for your product. So as long as your product has an active trademark, you can enroll in the brand registry program, and then you're kind of to the races as far as making enhanced brand content, additional search options, and things like that will really make your product stand out from the competition.
So you must have a trademarked brand to enroll in the brand registry program with Amazon, and then you got to have the enhanced brand content. And then he's saying you got to have great pictures And then you've got to have a great title, a great description, and a great product. See, it sounds like this is going to be a lot of work. Josh, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of work. People are going, our listeners go, I love work. I'll tell you that. I love to.
Absolutely.
They just want to know what to do. Josh, what questions do you have for Dan Metters about what to do?
Hey, Dan, so I want to circle back to like when you started. You said that y'all, when you began, were doing retail arbitrage and now got into wholesale. I know a lot of small business owners, other listeners, not ours,
Not our listeners. No.
get into a business and get married to their idea or their model or this is what we're going to do and we're going to do it better than everybody else. And then it doesn't work or it doesn't fit their lifestyle or fit their long-term goals. Whenever y'all chose to pivot to go the other direction, can you talk about that? Because I think a lot of our listeners need to hear that.
No, it's absolutely terrifying. I mean, ultimately, that's the real emotion that's there. Is why do we do that? And it's because we get comfortable doing what we know works. It's not about necessarily avoiding risk. It's just we know this works, and why rock the boat, right? And that was the same scenario me and Eric were in for years. Like we ultimately did retail arbitrage for about 3.5 years, and worked ourselves to the bone. Now, granted, along the way, made great money, but the problem is it was an entire shift, right? Like once we started going down this path, we knew that we would have to dedicate resources to it. We knew that we would have to restructure parts of our business, and it was very, very scary. But ultimately, that's the thing. This is the advice I always give people: is you can't build a business just because it works. If you want a successful business, you have to be somewhat passionate about at least an aspect of it. And for us, that we wanted a business that would fit our lifestyle, at least the lifestyle that we wanted. Because when I went into business, I didn't come and say, you know what I want to do? I want to work significantly harder than I did, make about the same, maybe a little bit more money, and just have no time to spend with my family. Like, that's not what I wanted.
What?
Exactly. What sold me on getting into business, it wasn't the money. Like, the fact of the matter is, I had a pretty good job and would have been perfectly fine at that job had I stayed. So it wasn't the money. It was the freedom. It was the ability to go do things with my family. It was the ability to take off when I wanted to go watch my daughters play. It was the ability to take my daughters on vacation anytime I wanted and wherever I wanted without having to answer a call or something like that. So, that was what I wanted. So whenever you put that in context, you start thinking of, this is the life I wanted and this is why I got into business. You have to craft a business that is conducive to that. You have to look at the models available or be able to tweak the existing models to be able to make it fit what you want so you can be passionate about it so you can grow.
Now, Dan, I think somebody out there's going, I don't know what retail arbitrage means. I don't know. I feel like I want to know. I maybe know the word arbitrage, maybe the word retail. Well, can you explain what retail arbitrage means from your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. And for what it's worth, I think it's a great model for people trying to get into Amazon because it's incredibly low risk. So I'll go a brief description and then expand a little bit. So what it is going into a brick and mortar store, purchasing a product, and then taking it and selling it online at a higher price. Now, at the concept, conceptually, it's pretty simple to think of it in those terms. But why does that occur? And it's because of regional differences, right? Like some products aren't available in other regions. Maybe you get a discount. Maybe your Walmart put items on clearance that aren't on clearance in other parts of the country and give you an additional discount to be able to work with. And that happened a lot for us. So effectively, that's what it is. It's shopping in brick and mortar stores to try to sell products online.
Z, I know there's somebody out there who's wanting to ask about the secret tip. The one that Dan is holding back here.
Dan, the man, won't share.
Dan, what is the secret, or what are the secrets to getting to the top of the Amazon search results? What are the secret? Give us your secrets, and we'll just keep it confidential between us.
We won't tell anyone.
Z, Josh, and then the 500,000 some odd listeners, and then that'll just be our secret between us 500,000 and our 2 or 3 friends, and that's it. We're the kind of people that would not share it with more than 10 or 15 people.
No.
Give us the secrets.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it really is. There used to be a lot of hacks to get there. Like you used to be able to do launches, really aggressive launches where you gave away products and things like that and rocketed your products to the top. But like Amazon recently, this is really recent, like in the past few weeks, has changed algorithmically to recognize abnormal sales patterns and not give those products boost in the search. So like even the old hack methods to be able to rocket your products up there aren't working. It really is. I mean, it really is from top to bottom, creating a sound fundamental listing, and then doing all the things right, like advertising, and making sure your product's converting.
Amazon pay-per-click?
There isn't just a easy method anymore. It is the longer road, and that's why ultimately, for what it's worth, that's why I like where we've landed as opposed to another model like private label. So in private label, what they do is they create a lot of they create listings and try to make a product start selling, right? And these products don't have any built-in audience or things like that. But all the products that we work with, like for example, we do wholesale. All the products that we work with have established selling histories. Like they're products that have been selling already on Amazon for years and performing at a great level. So it's a lot easier to take a product that's doing well and make it better than it is to create a new product and make it do well, if that makes sense.
Now, do
it's like
you
our
recommend,
job is a lot easier than the question you're asking.
Do you recommend Amazon pay-per-click for the listeners out there who are trying to sell some stuff organically?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Amazon pay-per-click is, I think right now, this year, Amazon pay-per-click has accounted for about 10% of our overall revenue.
Wow.
And that's just, sales driven from pay-per-click advertising. So it's absolutely phenomenal, and that's a growing segment in our business. Like one of our buddies who he actually recently sold his business. Whenever he sold his business, and it was just one wholesale account that he had set up and optimized and got an exclusive contract for, but he said that business, 40% of revenue was driven on PPC. Now it's profitably driven on PPC, but it was still 40% of his sales were coming from advertising.
So if I'm listening right now and I want to learn more about the wholesale, I want to learn more about this wholesale formula. I want to get in touch with you. Do we go to the wholesaleformula.com? Do you have a class that you offer? Do you have a course? Do you charge for a training? I mean, how do we learn more?
No, we do have a course, but our course is a little different than most. Like it's not always open. For example, right now people can't sign up for our course, and that's because whenever we take a class in, we really do try to focus in and dial with them, and we're not trying to take on lots and lots of new students. So it's, we try to take people on when we have the capacity to do it. We train those people and try to get really good results. And that's one of the reasons, ultimately we surveyed our folks last year. And we had 421 responses. And of those 421 responses to sales, like those people had done more than $500 million collectively.
Wow.
Like $1.2 million per person that responded to that survey. So it's, that's one of the reasons for that success is our dedication and really attention to trying to help those people succeed.
What does it cost, Dan Metters? Give us what is it? We have people that are listening they ask the candid questions. You know what I mean? They have listeners who are like,
sure.
I swear, ask Dan how much you freaking charge.
Right now,
ask him right now. Put him against the ropes. Ask him, like, calm down, okay, calm down. Dan, how much does it cost to go to your program, your class?
Yeah. Our course, we have two options to pay. We have the 3 pay, which is three monthly payments, and then we have the one-time pay. Our one-time pay at the time of this recording, and that may change, to be honest with you, is $24.97, or a 3 pay of $9.97.
So $2,497. We're in, and are we going out to Kentucky? Are you coming to us? Where are we going?
Everything's online for us.
It's all online.
We do a free event once a year for all of our students who have signed up for our course, and that's this year it was in Atlanta. I think we had 500 or 600 people show up. It was absolutely amazing. But yeah, it's the vast all of our course is online and taught that way.
And it is the wholesaleformula.com. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Now we did build something out just for your audience.
Oh, nice.
If you want to give it to them, it is thewholesaleformula.com/thrive time.
Nice. /thrive time. Okay, got it. Pulling it up here real quick here.
Yep.
Z, you're kind of a big deal. He's making a little landing page there for you.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, look, I see a photo of you, Z. I see a photo of me. Yes. Okay. So people can check it, and can they go there to get some free information, or do they have to buy something right away, or what's the deal?
Nope. Everything's absolutely free, and that's the thing about our content, right? It's like we do sell our course, but our course, like I said, is not open very often. And the rest of the year, we just put out awesome free content. So, that resource right there, what it is a downloadable guide that explains what our model is, how people can get started, and it's absolutely free. And then likewise, we have our blog where we post articles about different aspects of wholesale, different aspects of selling on Amazon, and it just encourage people to get started that way using the free material.
Hey, Dan, brag on one of your students. I mean, so give us you don't have to tell us what they're selling or what they're
Oh, it's the honest Amish.
I mean,
Beard balm.
is that what you
Dan's
know?
part of the Illuminati.
Is that part
He
of your
controls everything.
brag on one of your students? So like somebody's come through your course are now making $1 million a year. I mean, brag on that because I know sales are one thing, but I mean, give me a little brag.
Are you saying Revlon or who are you saying Nike?
Fire someone up out there.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. I can give you guys tons of examples. For this is one of those crazy things. Over the course of the past 3 years or 4 years, I guess, that we've been opening the course, we've actually had students who have taken our course and are doing significantly better than us at this point. Like they've just grown monster businesses. So, but yeah, one of the ones that really always just sticks out in my mind is Cheryl Brightman's story. And Cheryl, whenever she took our course, she was struggling financially. She had been laid off from her job. She had moved back in with her mother. Times were tough for her. And ultimately she got involved in our course and she struggled at first. She was one of the people that, sometimes people get it right away and they're able to just take off like a rocket, but Cheryl didn't. Cheryl, I remember we were, she would post all the time and she was asking all the right questions and things just weren't clicking for her. And, we had a dinner out in Las Vegas, one time for one of the major shows out there, and Cheryl showed up and she was talking to me and she just, I was asking, why is it not working? And ultimately she wasn't very confident. Like she really wasn't. I mean, when she would talk to people, she didn't speak confidently. She didn't talk to them like she could solve their problems. And, after that, she went home, she really focused and dialed into trying to learn how to talk to people just to make them realize that she did want to help. And she picked up an account that within 3 months of that. And she said she's had that account for 3 years now. And that account alone makes her about $250,000 a year in profit.
Come on. Wow.
Cheryl.
There we go.
All right, well, we have an Oral Roberts University student here, a recent graduate by the name of Nick the Quick. He's very fast, very, very fast. And Nick, you have a product that you sell. What question would you like to have for the Amazon expert, the man who's sold millions and millions of dollars of products on Amazon, Mr. Dan Metters?
Dan, it's nice talking to you. I was curious, when is it the right time to put your product on Amazon? How do you know when it's time for do you have enough sales revenue and your own company? When do you know?
No, I really feel like here's the thing. Amazon is such a dynamic platform on its own, right? Like Amazon, one of the things that people aren't really grasping yet is just how big Amazon is. Like you can have your own audience as well as an audience with Amazon. Right. Amazon is 50% of the U.S. online sales at this point. They are actually 50%.
Wow.
Which means that they are 5% of all sales in America. All sales.
Good job, Jeff Bezos.
Think of it. But, like, whenever you think of it with that mindset, right? Like, it is massive. I think from day one, your product should be on Amazon. Like, because here's what you're doing. If you have a great product, you're ultimately building a billboard. Like, more people will see your product on Amazon than will ever see your product in any store that you sell to, ever. So whenever you get your product on there and you have a great listing that features your product really well, you focus on delivering a good experience to the customer, making sure that the customer gets what they buy. Like, those reviews are a testament to your product, and ultimately it will fuel sales. Like, that's the thing is, how do you think a lot of brick and mortars are choosing what goes on their shelves nowadays? They go to Amazon, they type in the products that they're looking for, and they read customer reviews because they understand that the customer experience is critical. Right. And what better way? Like, I can't do that talking to a distributor. They can't tell me what the customer thinks about a specific product. So Amazon is becoming a tool to get your product into more brick and mortar. So I think, realistically, the answer to that question is from day one. Like, from day one, brands need to be focused on building a strong Amazon presence because it can be a tool to fuel their sales outside of Amazon.
To add on to this whole Amazon craziness, do you know that Jeff Bezos now, again, this was according to Forbes earlier today, and then if you go on Wikipedia, you can look as well, and you just have to kind of do your research, but Bill Gates, is worth $100 million, okay? So Bill Gates, co-founder of Microsoft.
100 billion.
100 billion, 101.9 billion, $101.9 billion net worth with a B as of right now. Where do you think Jeff Bezos, as of the time of this recording today in July of 2019, how much do you think he's worth? Again, if the second wealthiest man in the world is 101 billion, and the number 3 guy's at 100 billion from France there, Bernard Arnault. Where do you think Jeff Bezos is ranking there? On
Is this before or after his divorce?
This is
Right, that's a critical factor you gotta measure here. Is, you know, 3 months ago his net worth was significantly higher because he hadn't divorced yet. Now he's actually divorced, and McKinsey took quite a bit of that.
age
I think he had
55. Age 55. How much do you think McKinsey took there? What were you saying there, Dan?
38 billion.
Yeah, 38, 39
Yeah,
billion.
38,
something like that.
39
Now, this is as of right now, according to Forbes. Now,
Okay.
I'll go into Forbes.
So he took a little haircut after his haircut. How long
After
is
the
his
haircut,
hair?
yeah.
After his haircut. I say that he's, I haven't looked lately, but I know he's gone past Gates, obviously, and I'd say he's probably, 150?
$164.9 billion as of today after the haircut. Some have speculated because, Amazon loves to reinvest in itself. Some would say that he was worth close to $190 billion before the divorce.
Yeah.
But he disclosed 160 some. Anyway, if you look up Wikipedia, it said upper 150s, 157. You got right now Forbes says 164 billion. He's on pace, again, according to estimates that I've read in the last year or so. He's on pace to double Bill Gates' net worth here in the next 24 months.
Do you think he'll be our first trillionaire?
I think what's going to happen is the government will break it up soon because he's at 5% of all sales right now, and I think that's going to happen. It's what's happened with Rockefeller. I mean, Rockefeller.
But that's the part that makes this difficult. Is it's a very hard company to break up, and I think the government will. Even if they do try to step in, it's going to be very tough because they're so segmented. Like if you look at what is the service that the Amazon, if anything, could be considered a monopoly in? It's cloud computing.
They're going to make it like
they run the
They're going to make it like the Great Lakes.
Profitable cloud computing company in the world at this point. It's not close.
They're going to make it like the GreatLakes.com is where you go to buy dog food, and then Amazon.com is where you're going to go to buy like books,
like the old days.
and it'll be like Ocean.com where you go to buy. And I mean, seriously, I agree with you. It's such a big company, but I'm just saying, whether they break it up or don't, this is a great thing to learn about. And if you've ever thought about wanting to know how to dominate Amazon sales, check out Dan Metters. Check him out today. He has a great company, a great program there. I think it's a wonderful place for you to learn how to dominate in the Amazon search results here. We have time for one more question there, Nick the Quick. One more question. You're an aspiring entrepreneur. You've got a product there. You're marketing it there. Any other questions you have for Dan Metter? You have the final word. Final questions for Dan Metter, the Amazon expert.
Final question, Dan. What is the worst thing I could do when I go to put my product on Amazon?
Whoa.
That's actually a great question. There's a ton of bad things you can do, but like the actual worst is if you're launching in the initial launch phase. If there's an issue with your product that would cause you to get negative reviews, it will ultimately sabotage your effort. Like that's ultimately like one of the problems we had one time during launching a product is it was a liquid product, some kind of essential oils, and they had a problem with the cap, right? Like it would just leak.
Right.
And whenever we went through that initial launch phase, we started driving tons and tons and tons of traffic to it. Like people started receiving their order and they would receive empty bottles of
leaky
this
cap.
liquid.
Oh, no.
And ultimately that slew of negative reviews ultimately trashed us. Like it literally made it that listing we had to first contact the manufacturer, but ultimately we actually just restarted a new listing on that and closed that listing.
Wow.
So we threw thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars away on that launch process. It was just an absolute nightmare. So it's ultimately I think the worst thing you can do is give a customer a product that doesn't meet what they bought. Like
Yeah.
Dan, I appreciate your time more than you could possibly know. And if you're out there again today thinking about wanting to learn how to sell things on Amazon more effectively, Dan, what's that website one last time?
thewholesaleformula.com/thrive time.
There it is. Check it out. Dr. Z, we like to end every show with a boom.
Let's do it.
Dan, are you prepared to say boom with authority after we do the countdown from Kentucky?
Absolutely.
Z, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Nick, are you ready?
Ready.
Are you still ready, Z?
I think so.
Are you optimized?
No, I'm not.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom!